Bravery is not in short supply in superhero movies. As powerful as superheroes are, they often come up against foes or threats far more powerful and find themselves in situations where they're outmatched and death looks certain. Yet, for the most part, they'll fight on anyway. Some heroes, however, go beyond simple bravery. They seem to feel or show little fear, put themselves into dangerous situations without a second's hesitation, or face immense danger without their nerves wavering. Whether they've overcome their fear, choose to ignore it, or simply don't seem to feel it, some heroes stand out amongst others as fearless. Bruce Wayne only shows fear in extreme scenarios. Batman v Superman. Dedicating one's life to fighting crime is a daunting prospect even with superpowers and a preternatural level of stamina. Doing it with no powers is so brave that it borders on the idiotic, something that is lampshaded by other characters and fans of Batman. Nonetheless, Bruce Wayne shows himself to be almost fearless in several continuities. In particular, the beginning of Batman v Superman sees him rush into the chaos of the Battle of Metropolis with nothing but the clothes on his back, while everyone else flees. When Bruce does show fear, it is due to the unresolved trauma from his parents' death, momentary panics like when fighting Doomsday, or more existential fears over the threat posed by Superman. Eric Lane's hair tends not to fear for himself. X-Men. Eric Lane shares morality is a variable thing in the X-Men films. One consistent thing is that hero or villain, he is intensely brave. In both timelines, Eric doesn't show any fear at threats to himself, orchestrating audacious attacks and outrageous plans to fulfill his goals. In the broader sense, it can be argued that he does fear on a grander scale. Most of his actions come from the belief that mankind is a threat to mutants and cannot be trusted. After the trauma and helplessness of his childhood, however, Eric refines his fear into anger and action. Metro Man's one instance of fear is faked. Megamind. In Megamind, Metro Man begins as the primary superhero of Metro City and its guardian against supernatural threats, including Megamind. During his time on screen, Metro Man never shows genuine fear despite his heavy burden. The only time he appears to have fear, when he realizes he is surrounded by Copper and Megamind's plan to kill him looks likely to succeed, is revealed later in Megamind to be fake. It was part of his plan to fake his death and retire. However, he also shows the darker side of fearlessness, as he doesn't fear Titan's rampage enough to help stop him. Steve Rogers makes a point of never giving up. Avengers: Endgame? The point is made repeatedly that it isn't the super soldier serum or the shield that makes Steve Rogers a symbol of hope for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's his heroic personality. Part of that personality is that Steve doesn't give up, and he rarely shows fear even when he's in over his head. Even before he receives the serum, Steve is shown to pick a fight with a far larger man, and he only takes things further from there. It reaches the point that, when facing down Thanos' entire army alone in Avengers: Endgame, Steve's response is to tighten his shield and prepare to fight. Nebula lets nothing stand in her way. Avengers: Infinity War. Nebula is an antagonist-turned-member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. For a long time, she was the primary rival of Gamora, her sister. While Gamora is unquestionably one of the most lethal people in the galaxy, and beats Nebula in most fights, Nebula shows herself to be more fearless than her sister on several occasions. Whether she's chasing Gamora to the very ends of the galaxy for her revenge or trying to assassinate her adoptive father, Nebula doesn't let fear slow her down. The greatest demonstration is in Avengers: Infinity War. After being hideously tortured for trying to kill Thanos, Nebula's first response upon being set free is to crash a spaceship into him and try again. Fear doesn't come naturally to Carol Danvers. Captain Marvel? Even before gaining superpowers in Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers displays perseverance and resilience. She was determined enough to fight for her right to be in the Air Force at a time when sexism was rife. When she sees her mentor Mar-Vell killed to protect a space engine, she immediately destroys it herself, disregarding the threat to her own life. Once she develops her powers, Carol's fearlessness only increases. Although she's criticized for a lack of impulse control or the ability to hold her emotions in check, fear doesn't seem to be a feeling she struggles with. Towards the end of Captain Marvel, she doesn't hesitate before facing an entire fleet or challenging a large and vicious space empire.